So for those of you who I don't know, I am Sarah Sharp, and I am the extension agent who is based here in Greene County. I cover Greene, Fluvanna, Albemarle, and Louisa. And so I welcome all of you. I know that I've done some work with women in agriculture specifically, and I know that networking is one thing that people have really indicated that they would like. So hopefully this will be an opportunity where you can network with some other people. Ideally, I hope that we will be able to meet in person one day and do some farm visits, but really just to continue this networking and learning from each other. So with that being said, I am going to start tonight with just an overview of what extension or what I can do for you as a beginning farmer and how I can hopefully help you and maybe help you clear up some ways that of what I am and how extension works. So let me share my screen. Okay. Alrighty, can everybody see that? Those of you, okay, perfect. I'll take the head nod as yes. All right, so, there we go. So just to start out with a little bit of a history of extension. So extension officially began in, before 1914, but the official date was in 1914 with the Smith-Lever Act, which is what set up our land grant universities. And so what the Smith-Lever Act did was it really made that partnership of the federal government, the state government, and our higher education universities so that they would all work together towards the solution of some social and economic problems. So basically looking at how to make farmers farm better was the original goal of extension. So Virginia Cooperative Extension is the educational outreach program of the two land grant universities that are in Virginia. So Virginia Tech and Virginia State University are two land grants. We have offices in 108 offices across the state in every county and 12 cities. There's 11 research stations. And then when we look at extension, the parts that we think about are 4-H, which normally if you ask anybody if they know anything about extension, 4-H is normally the first answer that everybody gives. But then we have A&R, so our agriculture and natural resources, which is what I am, our family and consumer sciences, our FCS agents, and then we have community viability as well as forestry agents across the state. Basically what extension does is we are offering science and research-based information and solutions to everyone who may need them. So when I started this group, I really wanted to make it more of a localized group with the goal and the hope that eventually we will be able to meet. And I didn't want people to have to go all across the state. While that may be fun, it's not really practical on a regular basis to be able to get together. So that's why I kind of limited it to these counties that are listed. So if you don't know your extension agent and you are in one of these counties, I really encourage you to reach out to them. Introduce yourself and see, how they can help you, because the fun thing about extension is that we all have very unique passions and education backgrounds and different ways that we can help you. So in Albemarle, Carrie Swanson is the ag agent, and her specialty, and I'm going to put that loosely because I tell people that an ag agent, our job is to know enough about everything to be dangerous. So, we know a little bit about a lot of things, but every one of us has our own specialty area that we really like to focus on. So Carrie's are horses and pastures and forages. In Fluvanna, there's Rick Hernandez, and so he has a really interesting background, doing a lot with fruits and vegetables. The downside to that is that Rick is a part-time program associate due to politics. He is not full-time. We are hoping that that position will be full-time sometime in the future, but who knows at this point. I'm here in Greene, and so my specialty is commercial horticulture and local foods. Louisa is Charles Rawson, and his specialty is beef cattle or animal science. Madison is Brad Jarvis, and he can talk about soils all day long. So if you are passionate about soils, Brad is your man to talk to. Then in orange, we have Courtney Wessner, and she is, her passion is most certainly beef cattle as well as small ruminants, goats and sheep. And then the other one of importance is Adam Downing. He is based in the Madison office, but he is our district forestry agent. And if you have any tree questions, he is the one that I will send you to, just because that's what he does all day. So just some ways and some things that Extension can help you. So first off is we have tons and tons of educational publications and know of lots of different places to get educational publications if they are not on the Virginia Tech website. So if you come to me with any sort of idea, I can find you research-based information, scientific information on it. We have all that. There's that first one is that's just our clearinghouse. And then we also have some different topic areas that if you have some really specific needs, for example, there's lots of different direct marketing resources. We have some really great specialists in the Ag Econ department who are doing a lot with direct marketing, who can really help out with that. We have lots of information on soil health and cover crops. We partner a lot with NRCS to do a lot of the soil health work. And then there's also the community, local, and regional food systems. This screenshot is a little old, but we do have a whole team that works together on doing nothing but looking at some of these food systems. So these are just some examples of the many different things that we can help you with. We also, if you are any sort of vegetable or fruit producer, we have the different commercial, the production recommendations that we can get you. So this comes out every year. It's a PDF. It's free to download. It has organic options as well as your traditional conventional options all in this. It really does a good job of laying out some of the different diseases and pest management things that you need to think about. It'll give you anything from diseases, insects, anything you may need to know to grow any sort of commercial crop. This is the go-to ticket for that. We also, the first thing that I normally tell anybody who's thinking about starting a farm is to make sure that you get your soil sampled. Because in this area, a lot of times our soil goes very acidic quickly, and so we need to make sure that if you are planning on growing anything that we get that pH in the correct zone. And so sometimes that can take some time. So as soon as you buy land or are thinking about farming, I encourage you to really get that soil sample so we know where to start, because it's a whole lot easier to make those corrections before there's a crop in the ground than after a crop in the ground. Soil samples are free for any commercial producers. If you're a homeowner, just to get your lawn sampled, it is $10 a sample, but anything commercial, we can send that down. You pay for the postage, that's it. We also have the Insect ID Lab, which is super helpful. Any sort of bug that you have, you can send a picture to me and we can send it down to Blacksburg and get it identified, and control methods if you need a control for it. We also have our disease ID. So if you have any sort of plants that may have, whether this be vegetable, fruit, trees, you know, home garden plants, anything, we can send that down to our disease ID lab and they can again identify it and then get some controls for it. We have our fresh produce food safety, which is one area that I am very passionate about and do a lot of work in. So if you are growing any sort of produce, the produce safety rule is something that you need to know about, whether you're exempt or not. And so that's one way that Extension is doing a lot in the state to help educate producers on that. We also, if you're growing on a smaller scale, and so maybe you don't fall under the produce safety rule, we also have some really great handouts that Renee Boyer in Virginia Tech has written a lot. So if you are selling pretty much anything at a farmer's market, they have great fact sheets that we can get you to help you make sure that you are making a safe product for consumers to eventually purchase and eat. We do a lot with that direct market training, as well as then we look at our GAP, if you're thinking about becoming GAP certified. And so this is just a listing of some educational programs. These are all things that I have been involved in. So direct meat marketing, women in agriculture gathering, our beef cattle educational meetings, writing an agriculture business plan, farmers market vendor training, whole farm planning, farm leases, vegetable growers, high tunnel production, pumpkin growers, enhancing the safety of locally grown produce, baleage, farm taxes, well water, and that's just the ag side. That doesn't even look at a lot of the FCS programs that may be offered. So really, what I also send out a monthly newsletter, hopefully, or actually a bi-monthly newsletter. Hopefully you all are on that. If not, I am more than happy to add you. Basically what this is this just, I pull together anything and everything that I know of to put in one spot. So that if you are interested at this point, if you're interested in any sort of webinar, because that's all we have right now, if you want any sort of webinar, it's in there. Hopefully when things get more back to normal, I'll have in-person events that I'll have in this newsletter as well. So that's really all I had. It was pretty quick and easy. I just kind of wanted to do just a quick introduction of Extension. Hopefully that didn't confuse you. Hopefully that answered a few questions. Does anybody have any questions on Extension? If not, we can go into more of the networking part of the evening. Well, hearing none, we can go ahead, and what I'd ask everybody to do, the networking part, that's what everyone wants to learn about, is I would like for everybody to introduce themselves and talk a little bit about why they're here, whether you are a producer, whether you're thinking about producing, what it is that, you know, where you are, and something that you would like to get out of this process, this networking group. Whoever wants to start can go first.
I guess I'll go first. Hi, my name's Regina. I recently started working with Amy Rosefowl at the Virginia Free Farm, and I'm super interested in just learning more about kind of financing and things like that are around, and just general information on what people have found success with as they start their own farms.
This is Linda Eline. I have the Dutch belted cow and calf up. I have a little natural farm up in northwest Albemarle County. I'm interviewing some more people to be a partner in my CSA produce, both high tunnel and garden. And I have herd shares started with my Dutch belted.
All right, you want me to go, Sarah? All right, I can't hear Sarah, but I think she told me to go. I'm Patty Johnson. My husband and we've been farming quite a while. We have a cow-calf operation in Orange, but I'm kind of here just to kind of, I'm the past president of the Virginia Forage and Grassland Council, and I just want to make sure everybody's up to date on what we're doing with the Virginia Forage and Grassland Council, and make sure everybody knows that we exist, and we partner with Extension on a lot of projects. And we do have a Facebook page, and we have some upcoming activities and some webinars coming up. So that's the main reason I'm here.
Hi, I'm Michelle DB. I don't own a farm. I don't own anything, but I really am just trying to get involved with you all. I really want to learn as much as I can about farming and taking care of livestock and the land. And I also just kind of want to volunteer my services, my body to anyone who may need it. So that's why I'm here. Thanks.
Hi, hi Michelle. Hi Regina. This is Lina Schneider. I'm on the phone. Sorry, no video. Long story. Well, Isaac is also here. We have a small farm in Scottsville, Virginia, Albemarle County, and we are just starting out trying to do fruits, vegetables. We have 3 goats now. We have some bees, and we want to learn. But we feel like there's so much we don't know, and we want ideas and best practices from other people. So that's why we're here.
This is Scott. We just bought a farm 3 months ago. We have we're raising grass-fed beef, selling it direct to consumers, and I'm here just to learn about especially pasture management and herd management. It's Angus cross cattle.
So I think one thing I'd like for everybody to kind of talk about, and feel free to chime in. I'd like for this to be a real discussion. I know that can be really hard to do in Zoom. But what are some challenges that you're finding, or what are some things that you're finding easier as you're getting started? Or what's a tip even that you could offer somebody else who doesn't have land, who's looking for land or just getting started?
This is Linda.
Okay. Perfect, Linda, go ahead.
This is Linda. With my past experience, I would say go to as many seminars. There are a lot of free ones out there. I've used the extension both in Wisconsin and down here. If there are any short courses coming up or anything in your specialty, go ahead and take it if it's available. There are a lot of scholarships. There are a lot of farmers that are open to helping you, so just ask.
This is Scott. Yeah, one thing I was able to do was I sort of partnered with a farmer for the last probably 5 years. He's an older gentleman, and I was able to help him just with his, basic farming stuff, and just had a great opportunity to learn about his farm and how he did things. And so he was a great knowledge base, and he still actually is a great resource for me at this point because I purchased the farm from him. So that's a great way to do it if you can just find a local farmer in your area to just go help them and learn all you can. Ask lots of questions.
Hi, it's Michelle again. Sorry, Patty. I was just curious, actually, Linda, what you were talking about. I'm from Wisconsin, so I would love to hear more about some of the courses that you took and any of the scholarships that you got. I'll give you my personal email address if you want to talk a little bit more offline about that. Thanks.
Actually, Michelle, I just wrote a little quick chat. Respectfully, and this can go through Sarah, respectfully, I would like to contact you because I agree with the gentleman who just spoke from Scottsville. Find a mentor. I'm mentoring somebody, and Sarah, I passed her name on to you. Bought a new farm just north of Earlysville, and they're just starting to farm, and I introduce them to your newsletter. And they're not on this call because they're busy tonight, but they're very excited about it. I passed on just tons of information to them because I've had wonderful mentors. I've worked on commercial, I've worked on seed stock, I've worked in dairies, huge cattle operations to specific seed stock, and I learned something in every one of them. Hay farms. So find, one or two mentors or just one. And as the gentleman said, and Sarah, find a good mentor and just ask questions. We love to teach because we have been mentored.
Hi, Linda. It's Michelle again. Yeah, I have a couple of mentors right now. I am always looking to add more. Once again, I'd like to get your email address. Maybe you'd be interested in mentoring me as well. We'll talk later. Thanks.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Scott real quick if he bought the cows on the farm, when he bought the farm.
Yes, I actually was fortunate enough. I bought the whole operation. So he basically left and I came. So I bought cows, equipment, whatever hay was left from last year, was ready to go. It was a very excellent opportunity.
Yeah, brilliant.
Anybody else? What sort of challenges are you finding and you're facing as you're getting started through this?
If this is Linda with the Dutch Belted, my challenges are that I had some offers for people to work here. One person to live here and live on a section of my farm, and that has materialized. Now I am interviewing some people next week to partner in the greenhouse with me, the greenhouse and garden. I know more about livestock and I enjoy that much more than gardening. I can barely get a few tomatoes on a plant. Green just doesn't work for me except pastures. So I'm going to help in the greenhouse, but I need somebody that knows more about it. I'm sorry, Sarah, what was your first question?
Just going back to the challenges. So, I mean, for you, I know is labor, just from what we chatted about. And I know that's a pretty common challenge all across agriculture.
Right. I've got some, I'm focusing on the heritage breed. I do have two lovely little Hog Island ewe lambs, which are only 5-6 months old. So they're a good year off from breeding. And I'll take them up to Mount Vernon, drop them off for a month or two to be covered by one of their rings.
Uh-oh, Linda, we seem to have lost you.
Safely with the coyotes. So again, it goes back to labor. And also safety. I'm isolated. I just dodged a broken leg last week. I was just luck of the draw. I did not break it. I've got a lovely bruise, but and people know that I'm isolated, and that's one of the biggest things is safety on your farm. I can teach Michelle some safety things because it's something you don't pick up immediately, but I took a few courses. But that's safety is my biggest thing.
Lina here. Some challenges we've been facing on our farm are pests and weed control. We also just are interested in a lot of things and have a lot of work to do, and it's hard for us to know what to prioritize and where to begin with the monumental task of starting a small farm.
So one of the other things, I know that I asked this in the original survey, but now maybe that you've had some time to think about it, but what are some ways that I can help help you throughout this networking group? What would you like to see this networking group do or turn into? What sort of things would you like to cover on the monthly webinars, etc.? I'm going to be typing all of this, so lots of comments are great.
I feel Regina. Anybody like who has success with something or finds a really useful webinar or study, if we could pass those along between each other, would be great. And I think that's, and mentorships would be amazing. I mean, I'm working right now with Amy, but I am not unlike Michelle, where I'm happy to lend a hand wherever possible in exchange for a little knowledge.
Sarah, do you have, this is Linda again, do you have, because I run a natural farm, I've been trying to find good certifications, not the organic, but beyond organic. I think it's farmer to consumer legal defense fund, naturally grown, certified naturally grown is another organization. Weston Price is another organization. I think, Sarah, you probably have a list of good organizations for people that want to go the natural way and people that are commercially or conventional.
I don't know that I have a list, but I think that's certainly a conversation that we could have. I think there have been some changes to some of those programs, and you have to find the right market for it. So you have to find that you have a consumer who really wants whatever certification that you are going to get. So that's, for example, so unless you're going to be selling a lot of wholesale, we don't push a lot of GAP certification. Thinking about organic certification, that's another pretty big one, is that it's super expensive. And actually the studies have shown that in this area, certified organic is not as important as consumers meeting the farmers. So knowing that farmer, where it came from, having that farmer be able to tell them what they did and why is more important to some of them than some of these certifications. So I think that's kind of more of on a farm by farm basis, depending on what you're doing and what that target audience is, as to how we go about that.
I actually, when I was researching what certifications I was interested in, after looking at what other people had, just the information that they offered on the websites piqued my interest and led me to more ideas and research. So even if I don't receive that certification, I'm thinking right now offhand, the certified naturally grown website, the criteria that they have is very fascinating, and it might just give you some ideas, even if you don't get the certification, ideas on how to improve your operation or areas to study.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's certainly out there. Yeah. I mean, I don't keep a list here in my office of all the different certifications just because there are so many to choose from.
Regina, again, as this, once we get closer to spring, next spring, it would be great to know which farmers markets are really worth the time to go to. I know that some have lower traffic, but maybe have some other perks to them. So any information anybody has on that, that'd be super helpful.
Patty, since you were just highlighted, and even Sarah, could we possibly have, maybe on Patty's operation, a virtual walking tour like they've had, like the Virginia State has offered several walking tours, and maybe I have to brush up badly or a lot on my forages. What's the different, can you identify these plants? That would be a something I'd attend. Get a good camera and just close up. This is your clover, and talk a little bit about your clover forage fobs mixes.
I can absolutely do that. I have a drone. I love to take drone shots of my pastures, and we have like warts and all right now, especially this year since we had the 6 weeks without rain. We had our summer annuals didn't do too well, and now we just had to bail them because they went berserk. But yeah, absolutely. Tell me what date you want me to do this on, and I will do it. Because if you just leave it up to me, it's liable to not happen. Give me a date, Sarah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, and honestly, I mean, we can do some small farm visits now. That may be something that, we can look at doing either later this fall or early next spring. Is certainly, yeah, we can absolutely do that. I mean, the goal of this for me, and from the beginning, has been able to get on farm, to have people see different farms, to see what different people are doing, to get ideas, to talk about pros and cons and everything. I mean, my goal is that everybody who's here would host a farm tour and have people come out and look at what they're doing, so that we can all learn from each other.
So I can do a virtual one. I can start. We're going to do some planning next week. We have some pastures that we're renovating. We also have a silva pasture project going on. So I can definitely do some videos and put some stuff together for a virtual pasture walk.
Well, that sounds excellent, Patty. You win.
I win.
Oh, Regina again. I am really interested in forest farming and other like more native edible produce that we could possibly be encouraging. Any information on that, or anybody we know who is doing that? I'd love to get a farm visit on that as well as Miss Patty's house.
Anybody else? Anybody have any other thoughts, suggestions, comments? I'll take anything at this point. Well, in that case, we can go ahead and wrap this up. I'm not going to keep you around. So maybe for next month, I'd like to kind of think about, and well, I was hoping for some suggestions, was that hopefully I can sit down and kind of come up with a calendar of the goal to have a topic each month, kind of like we did tonight, to have 30 minutes worth of topic, and then have another 30 minutes of networking, talking about challenges, how we can help, etc. So maybe next month we can look at some pasture type management, and then do some networking and talking with each other and see how it goes. And then we can go from there. And if anybody has any other suggestions, anything that they would really like to see us cover over the winter in the next couple months, please send that my way as well. All right. Well, thank y'all very much for the first one, and
Thank
we'll
you
keep
for
on,
this.
keep going. Yeah, absolutely. I hope this is helpful.
All right. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.